Hi everyone and welcome to Club 3 episode 9 of Rolling in the Isles, an FM20 British Isles Journeyman series with me, the United City FM. You're very, very welcome. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Keep up to date with the videos and join my United City community. If you get along with this particular video, click that like button for me. It really helps me get seen by lots of other people in the search engine of YouTube. It puts me higher up in the search functions. So if you could do that for me, that would be brilliant. A couple of other little things to tell you about just before we properly get into this episode. Tomorrow's episode won't be Rolling in the Isles. There'll be a special Q&A video. You've still got time below this video in the comment section to ask a question of me if you would like. It could be about anything you like, and I'll pick out the best tomorrow and answer some. And then I'll be doing this once a month, probably on the first Friday of every month or something. We'll do a Q&A video because there'll be too many for me to answer tomorrow, I would imagine. Otherwise the video will be like 3 hours long or something. But yeah, still got time. Ask me some questions if you've got a question to ask in the comments below, and I'll pick out the best for tomorrow's video. This is the last episode of this particular season with Derby County. You remember we found them right the way down in the bottom section of the division. That's why we took over the job. And we've managed to, after the January transfer window, drag them up into just about the top half of the table. And you can see that whilst we were hoping to get slightly higher, the last result that we got, a 3-3 draw against Birmingham, who sit in 6th, slightly dented that chance. We'd been on such a good run of forms before that, and then we came up to the Birmingham match and it didn't quite work out for us, and unfortunately that's just left us slightly off the pace in terms of that last playoff position. I thought it was always going to be a bit tricky to get to that anyway. We sit in 9th. The lowest we can finish is 10th, but I'd quite like to finish in 8th if I possibly could. I think that would be a reasonable position for us to finish considering where we took over. In terms of what's going to happen for next season, there's lots to do. If we go and have a look at our team tactics, you can see that we've got 5 players on loan that we're either going to have to extend the loans for, or find new players on loan, or buy players in to replace those for next season. So that's going to happen. I'd like a couple of other things. I'd like a better goalkeeper if possible, and there's a couple of other positions as well that we could really do with an upgrade on. So there'll be possibly quite a lot to do in the summer, depending on what the finances are like. Financially, we're doing okay, but you can never quite tell what's the situation going to be for the start of next season and what the board are going to allow me to do. So we'll have to check in at the beginning of next season just to see what I was able to do in terms of the transfer window. But that's for another day. One last game to play. Crystal Palace, who until very recently was sitting right on the top of the tree and in theory could still win the title if they get a positive result and results go against some of the other teams around them. So it's going to be a tricky game today, but we've got one last game just to see if we can cement ourselves in that top half of the table and see if we can get maybe slightly higher with a really, really good result. In terms of the team for today, we've got a few injury issues. We've got John Clark, our striker, is out. He's out for 3 to 5 weeks, so that's him done for the season. Similarly with Crowley and Knight, they're both out. Kelly is just returning from a knock, not quite ready to take his position today. And Sam Johnson, the reserve goalkeeper, is also out as well. So it's just been a little bit of a rejig in the last couple of games, hence why the Birmingham one wasn't such a good performance from us. But today's team for the game against Crystal Palace, last game of the season, is going to be Rakovic in goal, Cotter at right back, Boone at left back, Camp and Story, in central defence, Benningheim, Roberto and Sibley in central midfield, with McCowan on the right, Daniels on the left and Walker up top, with a bench of Sané, Johnson, McNair, Streatham, Canning, Brown and Butterworth. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So I've gone with, we've got nothing to lose here. Let's go and show them what we can do. I know we're up against a slightly higher up team in the division that are looking to get automatic promotion, but we've been on a good run and let's hope that we can hold our own at least. First chance for Palace on a corner kick on that far post with a header over the top. But I think the goalkeeper just about had it covered anyway. But yeah, let's see if we can actually find a way to get into this game ourselves. So far, we've had little opportunity. 13 minutes in, and Boone on the ball at left back. Can we build a decent opportunity through the centre? We can't. It gets cleared by Palace, but they play a loose ball. We almost nick it in that midfield, but lose it ourselves again. They go over the top, and calmly done by Boone to get it back to Rakovic in goal. So as long as he doesn't mess about here too much and actually clears the ball properly, we should have another chance maybe. He sends it long. Camp picks up the loose ball and we get it back into midfield again, and we go too early down that right hand side, and McCowan wasn't in the position. Almost a decent effort from Palace there. A bit tricky down that left hand side. They get a good shooting chance and it didn't quite work out for them, but so far you can see that they are dominating the opportunities in this particular game. 8 shots at goal, 2 for us, and so you can see that we're struggling a little bit. Free kick though, Daniels, dead ball specialist for us, and on a decent chance. It's quite far out though, and in the end safely for the keeper, for Crystal Palace goalkeeper, to pluck it out of the air and then set them going on a counter-attack themselves. But usually we do pretty well in terms of our shape is usually pretty good, and we're able to maintain our discipline relatively well. Since the January window, we've been playing and performing a lot better, especially in the offensive area, but also in the defensive area as well. So that's encouraging. But Palace are obviously a very competent side, work it very nicely down the right-hand side. Cross comes into the 6-yard box, and on the header, they get a 1-0 lead after 33 minutes. And we have been outplayed a little bit in this first half, haven't we? So we're going to pause the game there, skip the replay, don't need to see it. We're going to shout and say, demand more. And then we're going to go into an attacking way of play for the last 15 minutes of the first half, just to see if we can go in at 1-1 maybe at half-time. Please, not 2-0 down. Cross comes in, and again it goes over the top of that bar. I think the goalkeeper would have had it covered again, but you can never quite tell. But look at these match stats. They're dominating us completely, and we haven't really been at the races at all. And you can see that the disruption in our side of having to replace a few of our first team squad is a little bit unfortunate just at this point, where we had to play Birmingham and Palace, 2 of the top sides in the division. We're going to tell them that it's been disappointing, see if that fires them up a little bit, and then we're going to send them out there, and straight away we're going to ask them to get creative and see whether they can come up with something in this second half. Walker on the ball after Daniels. He's the star of our show, skips past the challenge, gets into the box, and a fairly tame shot, wasn't it though, really, on his left foot. I would have hoped that he would have done better and made the keeper actually have to really properly do something. But there we go, opportunity again for him to put a cross in on the corner kick. Does so into the 6-yard box, but it's partially cleared. Back to Daniels, cross comes in, and McCowan on that far post, right-footed, last ditch, stuck his foot out just as it was drifting by him and pokes it home into that bottom right-hand corner. And that was a lovely move from Daniels, specifically down that left-hand side off the corner kick. Eventually the ball comes back to him, and he nicely puts it right away across the 6-yard box into the path of McCowan, sticks out his leg, pokes it home, and we go 1-1. And let's take that off attacking and go back to a balanced approach on this occasion and see if we can maintain our discipline a little bit. I don't want to lose what we've got now if possible, and we'll see what opportunity we got to change a few things. There's a couple of low-rated players. Sibley not doing particularly great there. We're going to put Kang in on that in that position. He can play all across that attacking midfield line, so we'll put him there. Walker not doing so good either. Butterworth, one more opportunity to prove his worth to us. He's not done it at all for me this season since we've come in, and if he doesn't do it today, the likelihood he's going to get sold, and he probably will be anyway, but don't tell him that, just as we'll put him out to have a good game. And then we've got one more change to make, so let's bring Benningham off and put McNair on. There's going to be a lot of changes, I think, for next season, so it's good to get an opportunity to see what these players want to do in these last few minutes of the game, see how much up there for the fight that they are, because next season is going to be a fight. Whatever happens, we're going to challenge hopefully for a playoff place, but it's going to be really difficult to do. The Championship is always really hard. But yeah, let's see if in the last 15 minutes we can just push and find a way to nab a win maybe. Let's hope not to lose, but it's Palace on the ball. Cross comes into that far post, and we were so lucky. We were so lucky. They were millimetres away from it hitting that post and creeping into that far post, but it didn't quite. Corner comes in on this occasion. Camp with a good clearance. Daniels, plenty of space opened up for him. So can he run into a danger zone and then get a cross in? 2 men in the box. Can the cross come in? It does go back to McNair, and I think we block our own shot there, unfortunately. And it's Ortega for Palace on the counter-attack. And we are light at the back, but he takes a pot shot, and that particular highlight dies. And I think he made the wrong choice there. Definitely did. And I think we were a little bit unlucky. But again, it's Palace with maybe one last opportunity. Hopefully it's one last chance. We don't want too many more to come in. Again, it's a blocked shot. Good defensive work, good blocking, but it goes out for a corner on this particular occasion. One last chance for the cross to come in. It goes into the 6-yard box. Again, we get a good enough clearance, partially cleared. Ball comes back in again, ricochets around, and they found a way to get a winning goal, probably. We've got 5 minutes left. We'll change it up and we'll go all-out attack. And we'll again shout for them to be creative and just see if we can get something from that. But it looks like in the last few seconds of the game, they've managed to nab a winner. We got a reasonable clearance there, but they picked up that loose ball, put it in, it got messy in that penalty box, and eventually they found a way to get that 2-1 lead. And the time's ticking by. We're into the 90th minute. Still got a couple of minutes left of added on time, but it looks like we're going to finish with a losing effort. And does that mean Palace beating us actually managed to jump a couple of places and win the league? I guess it probably did. And you can see why they were desperate for that winning goal then, really. Unfortunately for us, it was a little bit of an unfortunate ending to get 2 of the real big boys in the division just at the last bit. So we'll say that we're unlucky, and we'll come out and see what that did to our league position just at the last minute. And we finished in 9th, which I think, considering where we found them and the struggles that we had just before that new year, I think that was a pretty good achievement, really. If we go and have a look at the schedule and look at that second half of the season from January onwards, that is a good run of games, and I think if we replaced that lot with a similar run, we would have been absolutely right up there this season. So a good end to the season overall. I think this is a good foundation for us to move on from. We've got a lot of work to do, I think, over the summer. I hope you'll join me for next season just to see what I've been able to do. Next episode, I'll come back and show you what exactly I've been able to do over the summer and give you an idea of what my expectation for the coming season is. But yeah, that'll do it for today. Thanks very much for joining me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Come and join the United City community. It's a great place to be. The comments and the support section for me has been utterly brilliant. So generous in your praise and generous in your support, which is unbelievable. So I'm really grateful for that. If you could click a like on this video, that would be brilliant. As I say, it helps me get seen by lots more in the YouTube algorithm, so that'd be great. But until next time, until next season with Derby County, I think we've got a good chance next season to do something, but the summer is important. I'll see you very, very soon though. Bye for now.